Hey YouTube, how is it going this Friday? In this video, I want to talk about MindMed Incorporated, ticker symbol MNMD. They are making an absolutely beautiful chart pattern, so I want to do a technical analysis of this stock, and then after that, I have some other nice looking charts that I want to show you as well. Now, if you're new to my channel, I've been trading and investing for over 20 years, and in every video, I'll show you some of the potential trades and investments that I see setting up. So if that's something that interests you, please consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss any future trading or investing ideas. And I also have a Patreon group, so if you would like to be a part of our community and see what we are buying and selling in real time, that link is in the description. All right, guys and gals, let's get into this chart of MindMed. But before I get started, if you could do me a teensy-weensy favor and like the smash button for me and help me out with the YouTube algorithm for putting all of this together, I would greatly appreciate it. But if you've never heard of MindMed Incorporated before, they are a psychedelic medicine biotech company. They develop and deploy psychedelic-inspired medicines and therapies for addictions and mental illnesses. So those are two major societal issues that MindMed is trying to address. So the potential upside for this company in the future is huge. But that's like the long-term perspective. Right now, I just want to talk about trying to swing trade this chart because that's all I am interested in doing. I'm not saying this isn't a good company to invest in. In fact, I probably need to look into them even further because they are quite an interesting company to say the least. But as we can see, MindMed has only been traded, publicly traded since about last March or so there's not a whole lot of information on this one. And I remember, I believe it was one of my Patreons were telling me that I probably should get involved with this company. They were talking about it way back here in, I think, November. And I did not listen and buy any of this stock, and you can see this thing absolutely exploded. I'm sure if I would have bought it back here, I probably would have ended up selling. Well, I probably wouldn't have sold here because that's when I like to buy. Let me go a little further. No, I definitely would not have sold on this day. Let me see, this day either, because this is another day that I love to buy. I would like to have said I would have got out right about here because that's when I do like to get out of the stock is when it really starts to accelerate away from that 8-period exponential moving average. So I know it's easy to look at these charts in hindsight and say when you would have got out, but you can see this thing just had an absolutely beautiful uptrend. Finding support at that 8-period exponential moving average, and you could have just followed this thing all the way up. But let's get back to the current day. And as we can see, it is starting to make a very similar pattern. It was actually breaking out to a new relative high for the last couple of weeks anyway, and now it's starting to tuck its head back in. But there's still some trading time left in the day, so if it closes near the high of the day, that's going to be a very bullish candle. As you can see, it's finding support right at that 8-period exponential moving average. Now, sometimes when a stock starts going like this, it can be a fake out like it had here back in the middle of last month before it reversed. But I'm thinking because this was what we like to call an ignition bar, and it pulled back and held support at that 8-period exponential moving average and was starting to hook back up. I'm thinking this one has a much better possibility of heading higher from this point. And actually, if you back the chart out a little bit, you can see it's just a beautiful rounded bottom formation. That's just the perfect chart that I like to see. Plus, it also has a false breakout. I love to see at least one false breakout before the stock starts to break out again. In my experience, that usually means that the next breakout is going to have a higher potential of following through and headed higher. So when I come across a chart like this that already has one big fake out, that just gives it a little bit more conviction for me. But if we go to the 15-minute chart and back it out just a little bit, we can see how nice this rounded bottom formation is, and we can see that it's just starting to break out of this resistance area and follow the moving averages up. It has broken below the 8-period exponential as of this recording, but it's still holding that 21. And when you go to the 15-minute chart, as long as it's holding both of these, I think the uptrend is still intact, and it could be starting to make one of these, miniature bullish triangle formations. And I think that's probably what's going to end up happening. It's probably going to come up and start putting pressure on this resistance area. At least that's what it looks like to me. And then, of course, if you're not in the stock yet, a break above this resistance area would be a fantastic entry signal. If you're looking at this chart on an intraday level, let me take these off the chart real quick. Let's take a look at the weekly chart. I like to take a look at the long-term time frame just to see how bullish the long-term chart is looking. I know there isn't a ton of information on MINDMED because it hasn't been publicly traded for too long. But you had this big reversal from this false breakdown just a few weeks ago, and you can see that reversal that it had that I was talking about, that false break, and now it is finding support at that purple line, that 21 period exponential moving average, and printing a nice big green candle. So as far as those three time frames that I like to look at, I like to look at the daily, I like to look at the weekly, and I like to look at an intraday chart, which is usually the 15-minute or the hourly. Most of the time it's the 15-minute, but all three time frames are giving me a green light, so I really like MINDMED. I haven't bought any of this stock just yet, but I might end up buying some today before the day ends, because if it ends near the high of the day for today, actually, let's go back to the daily chart. I like to buy them when they end near the high of the day, when they're finding support at that 8-period exponential moving average. Let me back it up just a little bit, because this is the type of move that I'm looking for here, like when it starts to find support at that 8-period exponential moving average. If it closes near the high of the day, that's telling you that there was a lot of enthusiastic buying that entire day, and I'm looking for that follow through to the upside like we had in MINDMED back in November and in December. And I think if this stock can end near the high of the day, right around $4, actually I'd like to see it close a little bit above 4. I think MINDMED has a great possibility of continuing higher. Okay, well, let's get into some of those other nice looking charts that I have for you guys. I'm going to start with VTSI. This is one that I've talked about in some of my previous videos. This one looks pretty similar of what I'd like to see in one of these type of patterns. You can see it had that false breakout. Unfortunately, I didn't buy this one. I actually bought another one, but I just wanted to show you this, what the breakout typically looks like once it starts to put pressure on that resistance area. So this one has all the makings of the chart that I like to see. It has a nice rounded bottom formation, started putting pressure on that resistance area with a bullish triangle, and now we're getting that breakout today, and it's up about 6.75% at the moment. Now, the one that I actually went with was a STCN. This one is teasing me a little bit. I bought some options on this one, and it hasn't broken out just yet. These last 2 days, it is just putting, pressure on that resistance area, but it just can't seem to break through it. It has sold off a couple times, but it has reversed both times and closed right at that resistance area. So this one is right on the cusp. I guess I would have liked it a little bit better if there was a false break maybe right here. Hopefully this is not the false break and it can just keep going up, but Steel Connect is a pretty fast moving stock once it gets going, and you can see there's only been 75,000 shares traded today, so it's been really thinly traded as of lately. I mean, yesterday it had about 300,000 shares, so this is a thinly traded stock as it is. But today, like really thinly traded for some reason. But I'm still optimistic I'm going to get a breakout on STCN, Steel Connect, so I'm still holding that one. Next one I want to show you is CLMT. I have not bought this one yet, but I absolutely love this pattern. I actually had a little bit of a false breakout today. Tucked its head back underneath that resistance line that I have drawn. These resistance areas are usually pretty subjective. You can move them around a little bit as long as you're really close to, the key for support and resistance, you want to get as many touches as you can. So we can see where I have it drawn right now. That's probably the most touches. But it is tucking its head back underneath it, but I still think that CLMT is potentially going to be moving higher soon, because that's an absolutely beautiful pattern. You can see even today it's moving up on pretty decent volume. So CLMT is one that I'm not in yet, but I am strongly considering that one. Next one I want to talk about is CLST. Let me try that again. Let's try CSLT. There we go. I knew it was one of those. Anyway, CSLT is making a nice rounded bottom. It's putting pressure on that resistance area. This one is one that I've traded in the past, and I think I made just a little bit of money on this one. So looking at this company, I wouldn't say I get a good feeling. It's almost like I traded it and got a loss, because I think I was expecting more of a breakout, and I ended up only getting just a tiny gain on this one. So I don't know about you guys, but sometimes when I look at stocks that I've traded in the past, if I traded it for a pretty good gain, I get warm and fuzzy feelings when I see the chart again, and it makes me more likely to take that chart. But if I had incurred a loss with that company, I tend to be a little hesitant when taking a position in it. I don't know if you guys are like that as well, but I'm definitely like that. I definitely, retain feelings from past trades. But anyway, I absolutely love this pattern. I might be hesitant to jump in this one just because of what I told you about the last time I was in it. I think I might have been up a pretty decent amount, and it pulled all the way back, and I ended up just getting a tiny gain out of it. But CSLT, nice looking chart. Probably won't grab any because of that, but I just wanted to show you that, guys. Maybe you guys don't have any ill will towards CSLT. But another one I want to show you was HCHC. I've talked about this one several times in the past, and this one has had some false breakout. It's been teasing me. I haven't bought it just yet because haven't been too impressed with the breakouts as of yet, but it's still a beautiful looking pattern. Just a nice looking bullish triangle formation that continues to put pressure on this resistance area. I think when this thing does finally run, it's probably going to have a pretty nice pop, because when HCHC ends up taking off in the past, it can go on pretty decent runs. You can see this run went from $2.30 all the way up to almost $4, so almost a double there. See, this run went from $2.12 to up over $4, so that was about a double. I mean, when this thing gets moving, it can really cook. So HCHC is definitely one that is worth watching. And the last one I want to show you is VNTR. There we go. VNTR actually looks like it's trying to break out right now. It wasn't quite that high when I put it on my list, but you can definitely see this very nice rounded bottom. This software doesn't allow me to make rounded bottoms, so I kind of make them with these trend lines. But you can see a very nice rounded bottom formation, putting pressure on that upper resistance area. And depending on where you want to put that line, I'd say it's probably on the cusp of breaking out or probably already breaking out. But VNTR, definitely a beautiful looking chart at the moment. All right, guys, well, that's all I have for this video, so I'm going to end it right there. But if you have any questions about any of these stocks, or if you have any other stocks you want me to take a look at, please leave them down there in the comment section. I will get to them as soon as I can. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching my video all the way to the end, guys, and until next time, take care.